In this video, we're going to talk about how to work with layer styles in Photoshop. Layer styles are a way of collecting a lot of visual effects together in one package and having the ability to apply that effect package to many different layers. There's a couple ways we can access the Layer Styles window. One is to select a layer, and then go up to Layer, Layer Style, and I'll just select this top blending option. This will open up the Layer Style window. Another way is to simply double-click in an empty space on the layer. So for instance, if I double-click here, it'll open up the Layer Style window. Be careful not to double-click the name. That allows you to rename the name, or the thumbnail previews. Those do various different things. So just anywhere that doesn't have the name or one of these previews, double-click, it'll open up the Layer Style panel. Now within this, we have a bunch of different tabs on the left. And each of these tabs, whenever they're selected, will change the content shown in the middle. And on the right-hand side, we have OK, Cancel, and New Style. So we go to Styles. We can select different presets here. I'm going to zoom in on my spaceman just to show this. Doing this by holding down Option on the Mac or Alt on Windows and scrolling with my mouse. And here I can select different styles. So for instance, this style, if I mouse over it, OSX System Drop Shadow. So it'll give a drop shadow here. This one is like a sepia photo filter. This is a sun-faded photo filter. So you can see some of the effects that you can do with layer styles. This gives it this crazy outer glow effect. For now, I'm just going to select No Style. That's the default. And anytime I select an option in here, it's going to change this middle content. So I'll select blending options, and here I can change the blending settings. So in this layer style, I can choose any of the blend modes that we already have. So something like maybe multiply or normal. I can change the opacity. And there's more advanced blending options here. Going to the next option, like bevel and emboss. You can select that, and there's various different settings in here. So let's play around with some of these just to show the difference. Notice whenever I selected bevel and emboss from the left-hand side, it put a little check mark in the box here. So if I check and uncheck this, it'll apply and unapply that effect. We can also see that effect in this preview over here. So whenever it's unchecked, the preview is normal. Whenever it's checked, the preview changes. In this middle section, we can change various options. So I can increase the depth of this bevel, the size, even the angle by clicking and dragging this little circle around. And if I'm done, I can just leave this how it is. If I want to remove it, I just uncheck that. So I'm going to uncheck it and move on to the next option, stroke. So notice whenever I selected stroke, it checked the box, so it turned the stroke on. Here I can change different stroke options. So this gives it a stroke on the outline, like the size of the stroke. Position, so right now it's positioned inside. If I switch it to outside, notice how that changes the stroke to being on the outside of our layer. The blend mode of the stroke, the opacity of the stroke, even the color and the fill type, so I can change it to a gradient or just a color. And notice with stroke and with several other options, we have this plus. This means we can add multiple versions of this effect. So if I hit this plus, it'll add another stroke. I can select that. This one I'll make slightly larger. And I can change the color of it. Hit OK. If I wanted to, I could add another stroke. So I just click this plus here. It adds another stroke layer. I'll make it slightly larger and change its color. So this works just like the layers panel. The order of these matters, right? So what's on the bottom is the bottommost layer. What's on the top is the topmost layer. I can change the order here by clicking this up and down arrow in the bottom left-hand corner. So up will change the order. And if I want to get rid of one of these layers, I just click this delete button. Okay. So here's inner shadow. This will add a little shadow on our figure. There's also drop shadow, which adds a shadow. I'll turn off these strokes so you can see it on the outside. So drop shadows for the outside, inner shadows for the inside. Inner glow, satin overlay, color overlay. This is kind of a fun one. So we can make a number of color overlays here. A gradient overlay, pattern overlay, outer glow, all kinds of different things. Let's say we're happy with this effect. We simply click New Style. So I went back to the Styles pane, New Style, and this will save our style. I'll call this Red and Blue Glow. Hit OK. OK. And we can see that effect has been applied here. It's non-destructive. It's applied in multiple layers. We can turn them on and off. And now I can apply this effect to other layers. So if I open up this group, say I select this desert, so I can apply our same effect to other layers. I'm in a smart object group right now, so that's what you're seeing here. I'll go ahead and close and save this. And I have this really great effect that I can apply to anything that I pull in here.